revolutiontheme.com. That's what I wrote down, revolutiontheme.com. Jason, I just want to also remind all our watchers or listeners, however you are watching this, to definitely check out www.7, the number 7, setup. What is it again, Jason? Sorry about that. My broom. Sorry. Yeah, it is exactly. I can't see that right now. It's 7minutesetups.com. It's a fantastic, revolutionary way to get your website set up. In addition to that, you don't just get your website set up right away. You can actually then market yourself as a 10 and go guy or a 7 and go guy. You can create a website right away, get it up and go, and you're going to make a lot of people happy in a short amount of time. You can probably set up 20 websites every single day for the next couple weeks and make a killing before Christmas. You know, that's something that's really important to think about. Think of yourself as an entrepreneur. Get out there, make it 10 and go. I made that number up, but you can certainly steal it. I love what you're doing, Jason, with this. And I have a question with regard to service and also with regard to that little code that you wrote. Do you actually get the chance to talk about that code on your in your 7minutesetups.com website, or is that something that you don't share? Or if you do share, please, I'd love to be able to hear about that. I think that's pretty exciting, because I always get that problem where people blog to our business website and we just don't have enough time to respond to them in a timely manner. And this way, it looks like we did respond, and we do know that they did provide us with some information. I think it's a great thing to do.
Yeah, I do talk about it quite a bit, actually, in the 7-minute setup. When I show how to find plugins and download them, I also show where to get them, and one of the sites I show is mine. I have a WordPress blog called pressography.com. That's pressography.com, and basically that's a site that has all of the WordPress plugins that I've created and released to the public. And then WP Comment Remix is the one I was talking about earlier, and I also talk about it in 7-minute setup. And basically it does exactly what you're talking about. It lets you know who you haven't replied to, it lets you know how many comments you haven't replied to, and it does it all very quickly and easily. There's an entire explanation of what it does and how it does it in the post on Pressography, which it should be right there on the front page. I actually won a WordPress plugin competition with that one, which is one of my more fun achievements in the past few months. It was on weblogtoolscollection.com was holding a plugin competition, and I entered that into it and won about $2,000 with some other non-monetary prizes on the side as well. And I was pleasantly surprised with how well people received it and liked it and things. I'm falling a little bit behind on the development on it now that WordPress 2.6.2 and then now WordPress 2.7 is coming out. People are starting to upgrade, and there are a few problems that I haven't been able to address yet. So I'm a little sad about that, because I really liked it, but I'm going to get to that soon, hopefully. But yeah, it's a very powerful plugin, and there's a couple other plugins there as well. There's one that allows you to put a button on your blog that will let people put your blog's RSS feed on their on their Google Toolbar. So if you've downloaded Google Toolbar, you'll notice on my blog, if you go to jasondevelopus.com, at the bottom of it, there's a button that says Google Toolbar or Add to Google Toolbar. If you click on that, it'll add a little button on your Google Toolbar that puts my blog up there, and then when you click on the little down arrow, it shows my last few posts. And so it's a very powerful way to get people to keep coming back to your website over and over and things like that. So yeah, I've done a lot with WordPress plugins, and I really enjoy WordPress programming. The design, the people who created WordPress were very good about making it easy for people to integrate with their system, so that they could expand the number of things that you could do with it. And that's why it's so popular, is because it's so integrated with a ton of other things.
I absolutely think WordPress is fantastic. I think I mentioned that before. So when we get involved, when I buy your system, 7minutesetups.com today, and I take a look at everything. It's not just about the 7 minutes. It seems like you've got a little bit more information in there, talking about some plugins and some other little bits of information that I find that are very helpful. Let me tell you one of the problems that I always seem to have when I set up a WordPress blog, and it's really a pain in the neck for me. And there might be a plugin, and you can tell me, maybe you can share some information on this. I get a lot of spammers. In fact, I've got a website right now, a blog site right now, where I get about I'd say about 100 spam emails from that blog because somebody posted on that blog, and then I have to go and approve it or disapprove it. And they're just ugly ones, and they talk about Viagra, and they're talking about all things that are just not things to really talk about. So I have to delete them all the time. Now I know there's different types of programs to get rid of those spammers. But is there a one button press that I can hit to get rid of those spammers? Because it drives me crazy, and I just don't have enough time to spend even 15 minutes sometimes. I always say, okay, I'm going to fix that so I don't have any more spammers coming to my website. But by the end of the day, I never get there, and I end up deleting all these emails that I don't want to have. I just want to be able to press one button and go. Instead of having to put in all these Akismet codes or whatever they are, drives me crazy. So if you know of something, I'd love you to share that with us and let us know what we can do to solve that problem.
For spam, the only plugin I use for spamming, for getting rid of spam, is Akismet. As I'm not looking at the thing, pretty much the only plugin I use is Akismet, and the reason for that is they do such a good job at keeping spam out. They have a lot of different techniques for figuring out spam, whether it's what the content is, or what the IP address was, or what the email address or website, or etc., etc., etc. They've got a ton of different ways that they flag comments as spam, and then they keep them out of my blog. And so while a couple do get through, or some of the people that they've been told through one product or another that it's a good idea to go into somebody's blog and then say, what a great post, check mine out, and then put their URL down, that's not a good comment. And so that to me is spam as well, and so I mark that as spam on my blog. But Akismet doesn't catch it because it technically could be a legitimate comment depending on what you feel about comments like that. And so there will always be spam comments that make their way through, but Akismet does a great job of catching 99% of the ones that I see. And I get a ton of spam on my Pressography blog because it is a blog about WordPress, and so that's one of the first things people see when they're going out creating their bots to go spam stuff and all that. So I get a ton of spam there. And so yes, you do have to go get the WordPress.com API key. Yes, you do have to put it into your blog for Akismet, but for the extra 30 seconds it takes to paste that in there, it's not a huge deal. And I do talk about that in 7-Minute Setup. I show you how to sign up for WordPress.com, how to get the API key, and then where to put it in during the setup process in order to turn on Akismet so that you get that spam fighting power.